Of course.
Um, so Mayor Romero, can we talk a little bit about the the concerns that you have? I know this is based on a Facebook post that state shared revenue could be down as much as 27 or more million dollars over the next, I believe, a couple of years. Um,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I wonder how this could, what's your overarching concern right now regarding this?
Yes, absolutely. We have been looking at our budgets, and as you know, Eric, I've been voting on budgets for the last 16 years as a council member and now as mayor. And I've become aware that the flat tax passed by the Republican-led legislature and really shepherded by Governor Ducey has incredibly affected our budget here in the city of Tucson. And we're noticing because we keep track of every single tax that comes in, right? All of the fines, fees, taxes that come to Tucson, we have them on under separate. We keep track of each and every one of them. And so what our staff, what our city manager has been telling us for the past year is that the flat tax is affecting the budget, the money that we're receiving here in the city of Tucson. It is not the economy. The economy is booming, it is healthy. Other taxes are coming in, but because Governor Ducey and the Republican-led legislature passed a flat tax, it really is helping corporations. And so what is happening is that cities and towns throughout the state are seeing less state shared revenue coming in. And that means that we on the city of Tucson side have to make sacrifices. We've got to do the same with much less.
How could this affect city services?
Well, 100 million, I'm sorry, let me start over again. um, $27 million. And what that means is 100 police officers, their police cruisers, and all of the equipment that they use. It would diminish our police force by 100 officers. What the mayor and council have done is that we have done everything we possibly can to offer the same quality of life services to our community with much less money coming from the state. What does that mean? Is that the state, the Republicans in the state legislature and former Governor Ducey gave a big, juicy tax cut to corporations and businesses, and we are left to pick up that decision that they're made. Cities and towns and residents in our community will have to pay for that corporate tax cut, and it means so much, right? We go without doing $27 million worth of road repair, of parks repair. Uh, it means so much to a budget like ours and the services that we provide our community.
You all passed a $2.3 billion budget in June, but but are you factoring in the 27 million now that you could lose?
Yes, we are. Yes,
Mhm.
we are. And what we did was instead of giving our city employees, our police officers, our firefighters, our parks and recreation workers, a cost of living adjustment, which we did, we gave them half of what we wanted to give them. We gave them a 1.5% cost of living adjustment versus a 3.5, which is what we wanted to give our city workers, so that we could keep up with other cities throughout the country to make sure that, our workers, our police officers, firefighters, and all other workers within our community are well paid, and that we can retain them and keep them. So we had to move things around in our budget to make sure that we at least gave them a little bit of a cost of living, and we had to adjust how we invested in long-term investments that we have to make, right? We're going without new vehicles for our community safety, health, and wellness, without new vehicles for our police fleet, where we did everything we possibly could to continue providing the services that our community expects and deserves.
And I understand, Mayor, just a couple nights ago, you and council are now pushing the possibility of a ballot measure that could be voted on September 11th. Can you explain what that would do if it gets to the ballot in front of city voters?
Yeah, my colleagues on the council and I and the city manager and our department directors have been having conversations about what are the needs that we have as a government, and what is the incoming funds, right? And there is a huge deficit in our needs, funds enough to be able to do capital projects, funds enough to continue delivering our community safety, health, and wellness program, our Housing First program, continue providing $1 million a year to Pima County for preschool services for families that need it. Continue providing $1 million a year to the county so that we could see more youth employment programs. Everything to be able to provide the quality services, to provide a good, safe and vibrant city for our community. So what we talked about was the possibility of putting a half-cent sales tax to the voters, possibly in March, that will cover a holistic, a comprehensive approach to delivering safe and vibrant city services to our community. So what that means is affordable housing and shelter, neighborhood and community resilience, enhanced emergency response services, technology investments. Now that we're, in the 21st century, we need new investments in technology and making sure that we keep our information safe. And then, of course, capital investments for community safety and public safety in our community.
So this would not go to voters in November.
No.
This would go to voters next spring in March. Okay.
And the idea is to engage the community, to make sure that the community is absolutely 100% aware of the needs. First, and most importantly, why this is caused, right? What is causing this deficit is the flat tax. And by the way, the flat tax that deficit is going to grow next year. It's not $27 million. It's going to be $40 million that we will not be receiving from state shared revenue because of this flat tax. And so it compounds and grows throughout the year. And that's why we need to talk to our community and say, do you want to invest in this holistic and comprehensive approach to keeping our community safe, vibrant, and thriving?
Let me just ask two last questions and then switch to the Harris. I know you're headed to a Harris Walls, and I want to get one question in because we do have a photographer on the way. Housing First. How could this loss of state shared revenue, upwards of almost 30 million right now, how does that affect the Housing First program in a negative way?
Yes, when we received, thanks to the Biden-Harris administration, we received American Rescue Plan dollars. When the city of Tucson received those funds, I, as a mayor, and my colleagues on the council chose to invest in programs that are evidence-based, that are really a holistic and comprehensive view of how to provide safety in our community and how to provide shelter. So our Housing First program has, since its inception, has permanently housed more than 800 individuals that otherwise would be homeless and in the streets. And so we created that program. We created the Community Safety, Health, and Wellness program. We expanded our Community Safety Officer program. When I became mayor, we had 5 community safety officers. Now we have 150. It really is about putting the right work in the right hands, right? And so being able to diversify how we see public safety in our community is very, very important. Our Housing First program will not exist if we continue getting the hits from the state because of that flat tax.
Let's talk bottom line here. Bottom line, what's at stake?
Well, I don't usually like to be a pessimist, Eric, but we could see the lack of investment in our community, in our neighborhoods, because part of this plan is to invest in housing first and affordable housing. We want to put millions of dollars into helping people stay housed or become homeowners in the future. We have down payment assistance funds. We have funds for homeowners to weatherize their homes. We have money to make sure that our Housing First program continues, that our Community Safety, Health, and Wellness program continues, that we can continue purchasing vehicles for our police officers, ladder and equipment for our fire department. It really could devastate many of the programs that we know work and are evidence-based in the quality of life of our community. So it could possibly be very devastating. And we based all of this initiative on direct input from our residents. They have been telling us they want investment in affordable housing, that they want investment in doing something about our unsheltered community. They want investment in youth. They want continued investment in our preschool program that we're partnering with Pima County on. They want to call 911 and have a police officer show up at their door. And so it could be very, very devastating and not at fault of our own. It is because it's directly correlated to the flat tax that was approved by Republicans in the state legislature and shepherded by former Governor Ducey.
We're talking 27.4 million in a 2-year budget cycle, right?
And then more, right? So
but you say it compounds.
It compounds, so it could be $40 million next fiscal year that we're not going to have.
Finally, I know you're headed to a Harris Walls event with housing. How will Vice President Harris's housing plan, directly help the city of Tucson?
One of the concerns that Tucsonans talk to me about more often is the lack of affordable housing opportunities, both rental and home ownership in Tucson. And we're not the only ones. And in talking to my fellow mayors throughout the country, many mayors have talked about what little opportunities there are for affordable housing, from the sheltering of unhoused people all the way through the housing continuum of owning a home. And owning a home as first-time home buyers to, growing because the family is growing. And as you have seen and you've reported yourself, housing here in Arizona and in Tucson has gone up by 50%. And our wages are not keeping up with housing costs. And so it is proven that the more housing availability we have, the more those prices come down. And so The investment from the federal government through Vice President Harris' plan is absolutely something mayors have been asking for, and she is listening to what mayors throughout the country are saying. If we do not have people housed, there is less stability in children and less stability in working families. Housing creates wealth and stability. And so that is exactly what we need to have safe and vibrant and thriving communities throughout the country. So she also wants to come down on gouging by companies that really play with pricing apartment complexes throughout. We've seen that happen here in Arizona. And so she wants to directly deal with that price gouging and rent gouging that we are seeing corporations do to our rental housing stock. So rental housing, creating more rental housing, more home ownership opportunities, down payment assistance, and going after the corporations that are in it to make a buck.
Anyway, if you guys vote to send this to the ballot, the half-cent sales tax for next March, do you think it will pass?
I have run different initiatives before, and I've run as a candidate before, and I know that it will take a lot of information sharing with voters here in the city of Tucson. I believe that this is a very good proposal and a very good initiative to continue moving forward as a thriving city. So I believe in this initiative, and I believe that the voters of the city of Tucson will agree with me because it's such an incredible approach to community safety and investing in ourselves, right? Investing in affordable housing, investing in youth and children, making sure that we have money in there to continue doing the team up to cleaning our corridors, finding solutions for our unsheltered, making sure that we continue funding 311, that we have employees to pick up the phone and show up for our community. So I believe in this initiative, and good thing that a different spectrum of stakeholders in our community also do. So we just got to present it to voters and make sure they understand why we're doing this, and that we will have an oversight commission to make sure that this independent oversight commission assures the community that every cent of this initiative will go to what we've told them it will go to.
Next March, and it will help the possibility, and it will help offset any loss in state shared revenue.
Yes, absolutely. Offset any loss and improve the services to our community, because it's not just about filling the holes that the state legislature has created for us, but moving forward in the quality of services that we provide our citizens.
Mayor Regina Romero, City of Tucson, as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Eric. Let us know whenever you need anything.
Will do. Take care, Mayor. Be well. And
Thank you.
thanks to the staff as well. Bye-bye.
Thank you.